Journalists are trying to ruin gaming again.
We've got something that is properly serious and will actually impact you directly. Now, you know the way we had lots of publishers, the likes of, say, Embracer Group, just gobbling up loads and loads of game studios.
Yeah.
But then, whenever the financial state of things got a little bit worse, interest rates went a little bit higher, things changed in the economy, guess what happened? A lot of those studios just got killed. A lot of studios that were custodians of IPs that we really have enjoyed, where there was a hell of a lot of potential. So,
custodians of IPs that we really enjoyed. Yeah, sure, you really enjoyed the game, but you never bought it. Listen, Embracer Group did not shut down a single studio that actually made a good game. Embracer Group shut down a lot of studios that had not made a single game worth even the tiniest grain of sand in the past 20 years. They shut down studios that literally no one could care less about. Studios that made super niche titles and that maybe have, like, I don't know, 1,000 fans at the best of days. They did not get rid of anything of value at all. They just cleared out the trash.
That was a hell of a lot of damage done to our industry and a lot of brain drain. A lot of people who will be going elsewhere, meaning that we will not get them working in.
The term brain drain is not actually real. It's stupid. Don't use these arbitrary nebulous terms that don't mean anything. Burnout is a real thing. Brain drain, on the other hand, is, oh, I suck at my job. Please, someone think about me because I'm emotional or whatever.
In games that we can play. A similar thing is going on in another segment, and I'm just going to start this off with a quote. I worry that, now that the machine has increased in size, it will necessarily crush my most talented peers from the network into writing boring SEO-focused things designed to appeal to the averaged-out reader. But people aren't average, so when you try to appeal to the average, you end up appealing to nobody. Now, those are the words of...
That is the most stupidest sentence I have ever heard. This is not word salad. This is word diarrhea at this point. Yeah, and I'm not surprised that some ex-rock paper shotgun editor said this kind of garbage, okay? Listen, the average exists because almost all people are average. The average is real. The majority of your readers are average. And you know what that means? That means that they don't care about your political takes, okay, rock, paper, shotgun? They don't care about the fact that what you mean to say in actuality, most talented peers are gonna have to write average articles. That just means, oh, we're not gonna be able to put in our politics into gaming. I'm not gonna be able to review Super Mario and compare it to the struggles of women and dumb shit like that. Yeah, that's what it in reality means, honestly. It's pathetic, okay? All these people, so many people in news article writing, and especially in gaming, that are considered, you know, what's it called? Journalists. Everyone's favorite word, journalists. They're just failed political pundits. Most games journalists are failed political pundits that hate the fact that they couldn't make it in politics and now they have to settle for this, and they're trying to insert their dumbass politics into everything that they do because they think it's important and they know better than you what you actually want. So this is good. Writing for the average person is good. No one cares about your woke BS articles.
The average, you end up appealing to nobody. Now, those are the words of the ex-Rock Paper Shotgun editor Alice Bell. She was speaking to Aftermath in a piece that was about layoffs. Layoffs that have happened in the wake of essentially IGN gobbling up loads and loads of the game press. Loads of them. It's kind of crazy. And what this means is...
IGN is still crap, but they're honestly the best crap that we have in gaming. Sad.
You, the audience, are not going to be served here. The readerships of those sites are not going to be served. These places are getting gutted, and that means you're going to be getting desperate, shitty content rather than good journalism. And let's be real, it's already hard enough.
I'm sorry. Which gaming news site exactly didn't give me shitty content before? I'm kind of confused here.
To get good journalism out there, especially in games, right? When everything just ends up being, you know, maybe rage bait stuff or just loads and loads and loads of SEO optimized guides and just all of that sludge. So today we're going to go through this story and take a look at the wider ecosystem here, how you are being failed by the interests of a few powerful people and the degenerate incentives that basically rule their actions. And part of what is driving this is a fundamental change in the ad market. That's something I'll get to later on in this video, but straight up, it is why, rather than relying just on YouTube, we are building Bellular.games, right? Our own site, our own place. And over there, you can get network owned loads and loads of sites. Now, this has been talked about for a while. Some stuff went on sale months ago with gamers. The outlets this covers, though, right? GameIndustry.biz, Rock Paper Shotgun, Eurogamer, and I mean Eurogamer, like they're affiliated with Digital Foundry, so I believe this does impact the Digital Foundry group as well.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone cares about Eurogamer so much.
Well, I'm pretty sure they have a decent level of like financial independence and stability, but suffice to say, if anything bad happens to the Digital Foundry people, that would be a humongous loss for consumers because, like, I mean, come on, the value that they provide in doing all of that technical testing is absolutely massive. Other groups covered, though, include Dicebreaker and VG247, who are all purchased from ReedPop. And this is alongside, of course, the partial interests in Outside Xbox, Digital Foundry, and the Hookshot group that covers Nintendo Life, Push Square, Pure Xbox, and Time Extension. That's a lot of sites, everyone, and looking at the site rank,
I have not heard about half of them. Okay, so nothing of value again was lost?
From SimilarWeb, what this means is that Ziff Davis added 100 million visitors per month to their portfolio of game sites, which is a pretty crazy thing. And again, this is in an industry where IGN was already comfortably the largest player in the space. Now, the idea, right, that basically the people who own IGN, right, the media outlet, that they then gobble up a whole bunch of other sites and then gut them, I mean, that is obviously going to be bad. Essentially, the squeeze is getting worse and worse. And this is not the first time that IGN have went on an acquisition spree. As an example, they purchased 1UP.
Okay, listen, I don't understand what's the deal in gaming. This is especially prevalent in gaming. Well, honestly, also in journalism and whatnot. But every time something gets shut down because they do absolutely nothing, they're crap and just burn money and don't make anything of value, there's going to be people who are like, oh my god, no, you can't close down these sites that no one cares about. Oh no, think about the history and shit. No. They're trash, close them down. I'm completely fine with this. The reality is we could probably get rid of 99% of gaming media sites and be completely fine. Okay? There's probably only a couple of gaming reporters that we honestly care about. Off the top of the head, it's like kind of Jason Schreier for Blizzard stuff. And then there was one more for Bungie, and that's kind of it. Okay? Listen. That's the only thing I don't even care about them, honestly, too much, because they also only, you know, provide interesting stories like once in a blue moon. So, again, not much is lost if we lose like 99% of gaming journalists. Nothing.
.com, and that did not end up going well. From people who worked there, they basically said it was very much added to the portfolio, stripped for parts, not much effort going into actually maintaining content, then of course, you know, gets shut down, and it just ended up being an overall shit show. Again, where the reader and the staff lose. Now, for the reader to lose, the staff have first got to lose, and well, that was kind of rough. Staff were immediately laid off at a number of the purchased sites before the sale was even announced, and in a few cases, this is decade-spanning veterans of the medium. As an example, Brendan Sinclair of GameIndustry.biz, Stephanie Nunley-Jackson of VG247, Alice Bell of Rock Paper Shotgun, who at the time of writing was the only editorial leader on that site. And it is kind of rough. I mean, RPS, I certainly remember a few sort of odd, let's just say, articles that came out from them in the past, and really for a lot of these outlets. But like in the case of RPS, a little bit of that is what made them different. And as much as there would be times they'd rub me the wrong way, I mean, there was times where actually
Okay, so now he's saying making shitty articles makes you special. Jesus.
Their stuff would resonate pretty well. Like, they had more of an edge. They felt different. They did actually feel like they had a bit of an editorial voice. And I think that, that's just the sort of thing that we lose. We lose that, like, diversity of, different places with different experiences and different takes on things. And it all just gets turned into the IGN corporate blob.
Good, good. The more diversity we lose, the better. Look at World of Warcraft Wrath Within. You know who's going to be one of your main story characters? A half-elf, black, crippled woman who's brave and powerful, even though she doesn't have one arm. Yeah, that's where diversity gets you. Your heroes are now cripples. Fun, great, yeah. Please, less.
Do we want everything to be the IGN corporate blob? I think no, actually, we don't. So as you can see, that's rough stuff impacting, like, proper, industry vets who've been here for a long-ass time. Now, again, speaking to Aftermath, Bell said that the scale of the cuts is currently unclear to the public. Here's the quote from her. The network has lost a lot of phenomenally talented people, both in front-facing editorial and more behind-the-scenes roles. It looks like at least one person from almost any
Sounds like lies.
department at a company like this, you can imagine, got some bad news today. So basically, a very, very, very large number of layoffs. And that is actually, it's pretty rough proportionately, because you might look at a lot of these sites and perhaps you recognize the name of a publication because it's been there for years. But the shocking thing often is that just ends up being like 5 or 6 people. Like, they are surprisingly small. And to be honest, it always had been a little bit of a shitty industry to work in. I mean, yes, games had its own problems. I know, though, that there's a bit of perhaps a saying that there are some journalism-related jobs that basically you have to be rich enough to afford to take such a shitty, underpaid job. I think a lot of that was people maybe, having to move to New York to work for Vice, who would pay them no money, and then you kind of wonder, oh, how did Vice completely run itself into the ground and become a bit of a laughingstock? Now, the landscape then of
Vice destroyed itself by going woke, as most journals do.
games media is left in a very rocky place after this. There's a lot of people in the audience and the C-suites arguing that audiences should be getting their news from personalities, reading documents on Twitch, or on YouTube, or TikTok, or maybe by searching for an AI-generated summary. And that is a short-sighted
AI-generated summary? Oh.
thing. Now, the idea of Twitch streamer reading some articles they find interesting with their audience, totally cool. I mean, a lot of what we do here is aggregating news from lots of different sources and kind of synthesizing it into one thing. But do you know what's going to be a little bit troublesome? When a lot of that original reporting doesn't actually happen anymore. Because without the journalism going on, well, who's creating the document that Asmongold reacts to, or that, some juicy new report that maybe...
How about you fucking put in some effort of your own? How about that? Crazy, right? Imagine someone doesn't do the work for you, said someone who's reacting to a video but still on point.
Young as doing a video.
And yes, the irony is not lost on me, but the difference is I understand that I am a leech.
I mean, if those sites don't exist, or they are basically just reposting press releases, well, guess what? You're not going to get those stories. As an example, look at all of the reporting into why Anthem was so much of a shit show. And of course, that also extended to Dragon Age stuff and Mass Effect stuff.
Oh yeah, remember the news article that told you that Anthem was bad? How would you ever know that Anthem was bad if someone didn't write an article about it? What autism, blatant autism. Everyone knows that Anthem is bad, and everyone understood when Anthem came out that the company didn't do anything. No one cares about the small details. We don't need an article to tell us that Anthem failed because the devs were bad at their jobs, okay? Everyone knew that. Like, what kind of magical role do you think an article explaining why Anthem was bad is gonna change? No, it just gives you details why it was, what happened there, and you don't even know if that's true or not. Listen, there's a reason why made-up stories actually sell and have a market on YouTube and other platforms, because stories are interesting. It doesn't honestly even matter sometimes if they're real or not.
That's because you had people who had been working in this industry in the press side for years who had cultivated contacts at those companies, meaning they could get people to.
Oh, wait, this opinion gets even worse. I hate this opinion of, there's these journalists who have extremely wide array of contacts. Bitch, please, okay? Half of the people who give that information to journalists would absolutely kill for the opportunity to, like, give Moist Critical the scoop or something like that. So someone big, because let's be real. Oh, who do you think they want to give more information to? A rando journalist or some kind of big multimillionaire YouTuber? Probably the YouTuber, because that's how more people will know. If you're giving the undisclosable information to the press in the first place, you probably don't really care.
To actually tell them what's actually going on, so that then us, the consumers, well, we maybe know, don't trust EA's bullshit when it comes to Anthem, right? I mean, obviously Anthem, old news, but I think you get the point. And one of the particularly challenging things here is AI is impactful on multiple fronts. Number one, right? Do you want articles that are just an AI processing a press release or an AI scraping Reddit? Like,
yes.
No, we don't want that. I mean, hey, the AIs can.
No, I want that. Sounds simple. Sounds easy, actually. But I want that. Thank you.
I mean, they can hallucinate, just straight up make up facts and confidently say that they're facts. That can be a problem. It still is a problem.
That's just when you ask who created the USA, and then the answer is black people. Obviously, duh. It's not really a hard thing. If you're gonna ask it a woke fact, it's gonna tell you that thing is probably real. It's not really that complicated to understand fiction from reality here.
Problem.
And as long as it's not Google AI.
Even in, say, GPT 4.0, like the latest version of it, right? That stuff can be a problem. But of course, for a lot of the people who are going to be purchasing these sites and then gutting them and stripping them for parts, they don't necessarily care as much about those things, because all that they are doing is managing an asset. They don't necessarily care about the mission of that asset and why people
care about the message. The message matters. I hear shit like this, and I start to believe the people that said the billionaire also has gotten that DEI money, and so he needs to do stuff like this, like defend the message and whatnot, because this is effectively all we're doing. We're defending talentless hacks that want to insert politics into gaming for no reason. Why defend that? Let those people dry up and shrivel away.
People would choose to have a job at that asset. But then there's the other front, how Google is literally killing countless websites, because what Google wants to do, and it's even their new mission statement, it is to organize the world's information. And what that means is you write a blog post.
Yeah, that's kind of scary, though.
You do something in Reddit. I mean, hey, even I think there's a new partnership between OpenAI and Reddit, I think. But basically, they want to do that so that whenever.
Oh god, remember what happened to the last AI that was trained on Reddit? Oh boy, that AI was crazy. No, literally, I don't remember what it was called, but there was an AI trained on Reddit, and that AI just had oh my god, it's like, okay, nuke us now type of deal when you started reading what the AI tells you. Oh man.
Whenever you Google something, you get an AI-generated response that will be based on that AI scraping Reddit, scraping game sites, maybe scraping YouTube videos. And what that then means is, well, Google has you on their page with their advertisements, with content that their AI has scraped from other people, where those other people,
Yes, we know. If you want to talk about Google being evil, this is one of the things that happens. If you want to appear on Google searches, because you have the ability to not appear on Google searches, you have to accept their terms of service that they can just, provide data straight up to you. This is how, like, a year or two ago, when you typed in, for example, weather forecast, it actually just displayed a picture for firsthand of what's the weather near you, and you never needed to click on a link to be taken to a site. But that image was actually generated from a site that accepted Google actually displaying it. Otherwise, Google would never show the site in the first place. Kind of wild.
They'll have no real way of getting paid or anything like that, which then means that the things that they do, well, that's just going to be financially, unsustainable. And even if you say, oh, it should just be done, by hobbyists for passion, well, even if that is the case, it's pretty bad if Google just comes.
No, yeah, that's bad. Even if it's done by a hobbyist, it's bad that Google controls the flow fully. Because again, and even remember Susan VJJ, her, yeah, that person. She literally changed YouTube's search algorithm because she saw something on the news and said, "Oh my God, this matters so much. Everyone should know about this, but no one knows." And she literally changed the whole of YouTube's search algorithm to promote things that she thought are important. Now, if that's not crazy enough, the craziest fact is that her kid OD'd, which is good. She deserves worse in life. She deserves all the pain and suffering she can get. Her kid ODing, I wish it was 5 kids of her ODing. But the point is, someone who thinks that they know better than you on what's important or not are such failures in reality that they just let their kid OD. She's a millionaire. She still is. She had all the resources in the world to actually prevent that from happening. She had no time. She had no debts to clear. She could have concentrated on that. But no. The person who thinks they know best what is important for you is so absolutely brain damaged that they let their kid OD. Yeah, and that's the people who are trying to tell you what's important.
In and makes a shitload of money off people's work. This is just bad on every level. And that brings us to essentially the games media landscape. So there are 16 companies who own the vast majority of the games press, and I'm just going to go through them real quick. You have IGN Entertainment. That, of course, is IGN, GameIndustry.biz, Eurogamer, Rock Paper Shotgun, VG247, Dicebreaker. Then there's Fandom, right? They own Giant Bomb, Fanatical, GameFAQs, Metacritic, and of course, Fandom have, they've probably been responsible for ruining a wiki that you find interesting. Very recently, the big World of Warcraft wiki, they moved to wiki.gg because it's not pulling the bullshit that Fandom is doing on their wikis. Like, if you go to, say, like a Fallout wiki and it's a Fandom ran one, you're just going to be assaulted with ads, and it sucks. The next group then is Future PLC. They are Edge, Games Radar Plus, PC Gamer Play, Retro Gamer,
Shouldn't he be supporting those ads, considering he wants all these random places to survive? Shouldn't he be like, oh, watch the ads, they're great?
Tech Radar, Totally Game. Then there is GameStop, the store, who of course own Game Informer. There's Valnet, who you probably haven't heard of, but they own The Gamer, DualShockers, Hardcore.
Jesus Christ, so many completely useless gaming sites.
Gamer and Game Rant. There's
The Verge. Oh, Vox Media, okay.
Network N, who have PC Games N, Wargamer, Strategy Gamer, and Pocket Tactics.
Network Harden, boys.
Condé Nast own Wired and Ars Technica, which I guess isn't really gaming. Vox Media, of course, have Verge for tech and Polygon, which is their games vertical. Then there's Geo Media, who own Gizmodo.
Okay, I'm getting bored. He's just gonna keep on defending stupid journalists because he's a journalist. Oh boy. Well, anyway, Billy, I hope you're happy with the ESG scores and whatnot. Have fun. That was Billiard News. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.